All right, you guys, we're back. I started looking at more stuff, and I got my like instead of using this like small little repair kit thing, I got an actual screwdriver. And these screws were not Loctited; they were just on there really tight, and it was too much like torque for these to handle. So I got this top part off. I removed the back, these two screws. I removed those two screws, and then I was able to get the bolt guide, and or not the bolt guide, but the bolt and the bolt spring and everything. I was able to get to it. This has a fat firing pin, so I guess it's like the FSC. Um, it doesn't look like I can remove that. There's no flathead or Phillips head or like hex key in the middle of that. This is the I guess the power tube or the bolt guide. Looking down this way, does not look like there's any way to remove that firing pin on the bolt. Like I don't see any hex key or Allen key or like Torx bit or star bit or anything. I don't see anything in that. So I don't know how they got that in there. But maybe this is just one piece. I have no idea. But I'm going to put more grease on this. This grease is kind of spent now. I'll put grease on this. I'll put some oil or something down there. I'll put some grease and oil on that O-ring, this red O-ring right here. This is just a bolt bumper. This looks fine. This is a brand new marker. But as I suspected, I'm pretty sure, I don't know what this brass little piston does. This is what activates the launcher to fire. I don't know what this does, but there's a hole right here with an O-ring on it. And that lines up with this hole right here on the bottom of the bolt guide. So as I suspected, I'm pretty sure they just drilled this out. Try not to make the sear fly off. So I'm pretty sure they drilled a hole through here, a hole down through here, and then a hole right there. Because every single one of these set screws, they have like a rubber seal in front of it, or behind it, I should say. So this one, I pulled it off camera, and there's a rubber seal behind it. Same with this one. I showed in the previous video, I pulled it off and there's like a rubber seal behind it, and then there's a rubber seal behind it. This one. So I think the air comes into the magazine. It probably fills this chamber with air, and then the air exits right here, and it goes up into this I guess I don't know what this would be, the valve cap or the valve air chamber. But there is a very tiny hole back there. I don't think I have a drill bit that'll fit in there, but I'd also would have a bunch of metal shards in here that I wouldn't be able to get out, because this is just one piece. This is not like two pieces or anything. Doesn't seem like it is. Yeah, this is just one piece. So this is restricted by that little pin in the back of that recessed area. It's kind of hard to see on camera. Trying to get it to focus. Maybe I can take a picture of it later or something. But yeah, this is what's keeping it from hitting harder, I guess you could say. Let me try turning off my light. So you can see that little hole in there. That's pretty much keeping the air from flowing through freely, like a lot more. And yeah, I don't have a drill bit small enough, nor do I have a drill bit long enough to go in there. And then I'd have all this metal shards and stuff inside this valve cap, or this, whatever this is, this air channel thing, bolt guide, power tube. I don't have, like, there's no way to get that shrapnel out of there. So I would just be blowing blowing metal pieces through this and just destroying this thing. But yeah, I'm assuming if I could cut into that somehow, this would hit harder, and widening this wouldn't do anything, and making this channel of air in this bottom part would not do anything. I'm pretty sure what you'd have to do is cut into that little hole back there. But yeah, I'm not a master at this. I don't have a lot of tools that some of these other guys on YouTube channels have. I'm not a master modder or anything. So yeah, that's how the Sabre is constructed on the inside. And I'm going to put this all back together, and hopefully it holds air and stuff. This is the bolt spring. I mean, I could try to get like a weakened one slightly, but what's mainly holding this back from hitting super hard is that little hole in the back of this I guess power tube is what you would, well, that's what I would call it. I don't know if that's the correct thing to call it, but yeah, that little tiny little hole back there looks like really small. Let's see here. So yeah, I'm blowing on this and the air is coming out through there. But yeah, that's a really small hole. So not really much I can do as far as like changing things or whatever, because yeah, this is one piece. It's not two pieces. If this was two pieces, I would try it. But since this is just one piece, I can't get in there to clean it out, clean out the metal shards that are going to be in there. So I'm going to reassemble this. I'm not sure how good it'll come out, but I guess I'll just do it. Put grease on everything and put it back together. So this might be a little bit long. I know my previous one was like 30 minutes and I didn't really accomplish anything aside from just kind of peek at some of these random things in here. But anyway, if you're not interested in watching this at all, that's totally fine. You can just hit stop and stop watching. So I know some people want to see what's in here, how it works and stuff. So this is re-greased. I'm going to put some grease on this thing. Just a little bit, not like all kinds. And I'll put a drop of oil down there on that O-ring. And I think that's it. I'll just reassemble this. I don't know if I'll show everything, but you guys get the gist of this, I'm pretty sure. So I'm just going to work that oil in. So that's all nice and oiled up again. Firing pin looks fine. Doesn't look like I can remove it. So I'm going to get a paper towel, get my hands not being all greasy anymore, and then attempt to put this back together. All right, so you got to put the sear. You got to put it, first of all, you need these three holes to be lined up with these three holes. And there's kind of like a recessed part on this power tube or whatever this is, valve. So I'm going to put this like here. And the sear kind of just goes, where it's supposed to go. And then now I have to put pressure on this and line up the screws. I didn't have to take these off, but if I did, this bottom rectangle piece would just come off completely. I did not want to do that though, because there's a spring right here on the sear, and that's why it was like popped up, because the spring's putting tension on it. If I take off these bottom screws, this whole thing's gonna come off, and then I'll have to put those I'll have to retension that spring and put it back the right way. So these were the screws that went down here. They're kind of long. They're a lot longer than the ones on the top part of this valve assembly or bolt assembly, whatever this is. So I'm just trying to find the threads without stripping stuff. There's two washers. I think they're just metal washers. There's two metal washers that were on these screws that fit in that recessed area. So yeah, I had to get a larger screwdriver to be able to pull these off because my little electronics, like cheap ass Walmart thing, was just not having it. So yeah, I'm just tightening these down. I'm not doing too tight because I'm pretty sure this will strip or break or something. So that's in. I'll put a little bit of oil on this, even though it probably doesn't need it, and it doesn't hurt because this isn't like a O-rings or nothing. So those are in. The top part, it has 4 screws on it. All of them are the same length, and they're countersunk. So there's not really any way to put them the wrong way, but all of them look like this. Countersunk head, and this part is not threaded, but the top of this valve thing or bolt guide or whatever this is threaded. Like this part and this part is threaded, but not this top plate. So I'm just going to put those back where they belong. And all the tension of that spring is being held by the bottom piece right now, the one I just assembled together. So you can take this top part off first and nothing bad should happen. You shouldn't have anything flying across the room or anything like that. You should easily be able to, go about your day without having a nightmare. So I'm just putting these in, making sure. So there's like a little like recessed area on the top. You just got to line that up, and that way you won't cross thread anything. So I'm just gonna put these back. Just do this slow. You don't want to go too fast and then strip some stuff because you're not going to be able to get a replacement part. You just have to send it to Sabre, but they'll know that you tampered with it. So yeah, do this at your own risk. If yours is working perfectly fine and you don't need to do any maintenance or anything on it, just leave it alone. Because yeah, I still have to air this up and see if it holds air, if I did anything stupid or whatever to this. So all these were 2mm set screws, and I'll pop this one off just to show you. It's just a little rubber thing, like a seal, similar to all the other ones that were right here and right here. So there's that little rubber thing in there. I don't have any tweezers. I don't want to mess with that because if I break it or do something stupid to it, I won't be able to seal this. But it's definitely not a regulator. I'm assuming, how I said earlier, that there's holes drilled in this. Like if I had a see-through X-ray vision or whatever, there'd be a hole going straight through to about here, a hole going straight through to about here, and then a long hole going down here. And I'm pretty sure it's just making like a chamber for air to be in, and then all the air goes through here up into this little bolt guide or whatever this is, power tube valve. And then it gets all pushed through that little flat part in the back with that tiny little hole in it. So yeah, I mean, if you're able to drill that out like one size higher, you'd have to clean out this whole inside somehow, like with water or something. Probably wouldn't be good. And then you might gain some power, but you'll lose your amount of shots. But like your first magazine will just dump. Like maybe you'll get like 25 joules or 30 joules out of it. Maybe. I don't know. I'm probably not going to mess with that because, like I said, this is one piece, and you can't get the shrapnel, like metal dust and stuff that's in there with the drill bit. You're just going to be stuck in there. So yeah, that's unfortunate. It didn't look like this was a separate piece. The tube sticking out the front where the firing pin goes around and the bolt goes around, it didn't look like it was a separate piece. It looked like it was one piece. So this and that bolt guide or power tube, this and the power tube is just one piece. But yeah, this looks like a FSC bolt, and yeah, there's nothing, no sort of way to pull that firing pin out. But yeah, I'm just going to reassemble this and then put it on the airline and see if I have any leaks. All right, you guys, I got my air tank, got my Sabre. This isn't like fully pressurized, but I just like to use a partial tank to check for things. So I'm airing this up. You'll probably hear a click or a bunch of hissing, one of the two. So we're good. It's pressurized. I'm gonna fire this. There's nothing in this magazine, and I'm pointing it down. So it's functioning, reassembled correctly. Like I said, this isn't like fully pressurized, but this is just 800 psi. But it looks like it's a little bit lower than that right now. But it holds air. I hear no leaking. I have the Sabre gun right next to my microphone on the camera, and it's quiet. So yeah, it's working. So assembled correctly. Yeah, it's too bad I can't get in there and drill out that little hole in the back of the valve. So I turn off my air tank. I'm just going to degas this. So yeah, pretty much done. There's nothing else really I could do to this. Maybe you guys will have some suggestions or something, but yeah, one of the things with less lethals is they make them sort of like with like parts that are not easily available, and nobody makes any of those parts inside aside from like common stuff like screws or washers or O-rings. Like you can get that type of stuff, but you can't get like that bolt bolt guide and power tube and stuff, like the that metal housing that's on the bolt. Like you can't get that anywhere. Like, you can only get it from Sabre, but they're not going to just sell you that part. You just basically, it's kind of like Burna. Like you send it into them and they'll replace it or fix it or whatever, but you're not going to find a shop, a paintball store, or like somebody online that sells those types of pieces. Because yeah, it's basically just a proprietary design, and the only thing you can do is just kind of like drill things out or switch out O-rings and stuff. But I feel like for this marker, since it has a little restrictor pinhole in the back behind the bolt, it's not going to get any stronger. But yeah, I don't know. There might be someone else that's taking these apart and stuff, but I only look on YouTube. I don't look on Facebook or Instagram or X or any of those things. I only do most of my research and stuff on YouTube and like old ass paintball websites, like forums, big old blog posts and stuff. And yeah, nobody has basically any information about this besides put air in it and shoot it. There's no one that does like deep dives into things that I know of. There could be somebody out there, but I haven't seen anything myself. So anyways, guys, I'll be using this in future videos. I'll just throw it in the mix with my Tip-X and the Assault Supply S2 and the TCR and the TR68, the Umarex pistols, the TR50, the HDP50. Yeah, just another random teardown video, but I actually took apart the whole thing this time. The only thing I didn't mess with was I didn't remove the bottom plate all the way. I feel like it's pointless at this point, and the detents, I'm not going to be able to find new detents. I'll either have to make them myself or, hit up Sabre and say, hey, my detents are messed up in my Sabre home defense launcher, and see what they say. But mine are fine. I'm just saying, like, to get replacement parts for this, you're going to have to go directly through Sabre if it's not like a common thing like an O-ring or a screw or something. But that's kind of how it is for most less lethal stuff. Salt supply caps, the Pierce caps, no one has those little seals that are in there. Burna, my valve pin broke. There is one guy, a Reaper Air Defense. He's this guy from South Africa. He does he makes like 3D CAD files, I think they are. I don't know anything about 3D printing or 3D metal milling or whatever that is. He puts out free like CAD files, and he has a Burna valve pin that I would like to like create myself, but I don't have anything like that to do that. And I could probably fix my Burna if I was able to make that or like manufacture that valve pin that he has. It's kind of a work in progress still. I think he gets like a couple shots hitting 17 joules and then it just kind of dies, and it kind of maybe like 6 shot it's already like hitting like 5 joules or something on the Burna SD. And he has like a HDP 50 carbine kit, and I think he's trying to make a TR50 drum magazine where he can fit like 15 or 16 shots on the drum of the TR50. So it's like this piece that kind of hangs off the side of the TR50, but it continuously feeds balls in, so you don't have to keep switching a mag every 6 shots. You just have like 12 shots in this plastic thing, or 16 shots in this plastic like bar that kind of attaches to the side of the TR50. He has some cool stuff, but I don't have a 3D printer, and I don't know anybody that machines parts, so I kind of can't get any of that stuff. But anyways, guys, have a good one, and I'll see you next time.